Hey folks, welcome back to another episode of The Portable Gamer and another episode of ETS2. We are in Reykjavik and we were in a Scania 144. We are now in a Scania 164. Stopped by the repair shop, got everything fixed 100% and upgraded from a 14-liter V8 to a 16-liter V8, and that bumps us to 480 brake horsepower. So maybe that's going to help a little bit if we go over the mountains here. So in Reykjavik, and I'd be willing to take something over the hill here, either over the hill to the north or this new central route. No. Yes. No. 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 So it looks like 3 tons. That's perfect. Nothing too strenuous. And then we will then have to go from Blönduós back to the harbor to get back to the mainland. Back to the port, rather, to get back to the mainland. Not quite awake yet. Bear with me. So we will take these pot flowers, you say. We're going to take these pot flowers from Reykjavik to Blönduós. We just slept all night, and it's 8 p.m., fully dark. Everything is a little bit weird in Iceland, time-wise. Not like the people or the food or anything. But everything is a little bit off as far as the day-night cycle, and it's a scene. I've also turned up the truck volume a little bit. I think this truck sounds great, and I want you to be able to hear it. I'm still getting everything sorted out with OBS. That's going to be my excuse. I could probably make that excuse last a year or two. I'm getting everything sorted out in OBS. So things like game volume versus microphone volume, and well, that's it for now. That's all I got. Getting it sorted out little by little. So we'll go pick up our pot flowers and take those over the mountains. And I think that's probably about a 40-minute trip, maybe 40 minutes of real time, 40 minutes to an hour. And we'll call that an episode. I've really been enjoying, this is ETS2, it's the 1.30.2.2 patch. Nerds! And it's also, I'm also running ProMods 2.26, and I am loving both of them. Now, ProMods 2.26, ooh, this is going to be scary. If I disappear for a minute and then I come back as though nothing happened, I've got some trailers in here that have been known to crash the game. I'll be real with you. Okay, so far so good. And it's the NTM trailer set. Now, these are the Kraker trailer sets. There's a cast trailer set, yes. I might get tandem here, and we're not going on a ferry, so if I can take a tandem, I do like them. They're a pain in the ass. These are just all skins. Maybe. No whammy. No tandem. Okay, so let's find a good sexy logo. This one right here. I choose you. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Now where's this thing? It's right around behind. So it's a Monday where I am. Probably where you are too. It's not that big a planet. International dateline. That's not likely. Anybody watching from Fiji? So it's Monday where I am, and I did not sleep well. I woke up about 5 a.m. and that's not, I don't necessarily mind getting up early. And I think I may have said this in another stream. I don't wake up to an alarm clock. I just don't stay up half the night. I go to bed fairly early. And I wake up normally around 6. No alarm clock. It's so nice. It's a great way to get up rather than being sort of yanked awake by an alarm clock. To just kind of drift up and wake up naturally. I think that's a great way to wake up. I've been doing it for years. But 5 is a bit early for me, I have to say. So that was not strictly how I planned to start the day. And it's kind of a gloomy, rainy day here. It was on Saturday, but then Sunday, it cleared up a bit. Yesterday it cleared up a bit. It was a better day. Today it's all gloomy and rainy again. I don't know if that's part of it. We got the negative ions. That's a thing. That's totally a thing. Now, the nav is a bit wonky at the moment. Oh, it just corrected. Okay. 275 kilometer, that's not 45 minutes. That's more like 15 or 20 minutes. So maybe, depending on how the stream's going, maybe we'll pick something up in Blönduós and see if we can haul it down toward the port and get headed back to the mainland. Now I'm running Grimes mild winter mod. And you know, we're trying to sort out how we want to go. And there's a possibility that, I mean, I would prefer to get into Scandinavia, you know that, and go across toward the North Cape. But I don't always get everything I want. So maybe that happens, maybe it doesn't. But if we go to Scandinavia, I want to throw on the Grimes Frosty mod. Because it is still February, and I'm guessing in Scandinavia right now in February, it's still pretty snowy. If we don't go to Scandinavia and go back down either through Denmark, Germany, Luxembourg, Holland, etc., back to our base to swap out our truck, then I'm going to keep the mild winter mod on. And if we go through the UK, I definitely will. So I'm hoping we can, and we may even be able to get a cargo all the way back to Scandinavia straight from Blönduós, but I think I'm about level 20 right now, and I don't know if, because I don't, when I'm building my profile, I don't start with long trips first, because I take a lot of contract jobs. No tickets, no tickets. I take a lot of contract jobs. That has been in my experience, that's the best way for me to make money. So what I do is I start my profile, I take contract jobs, and as soon as I'm able to, I take out the maximum loan, which is about £500,000 in this case, €500,000. I take out the maximum loan, I expand my garage and buy 2 trucks. And that's 2 trucks, €150,000 a piece. And the garage expansion, I believe, is 100,000, so 400,000. But now you have 2 drivers on. Now, I used to take over and start driving one of those trucks. So I would have another driver and me. But I had me an idea. I used my logic. And what I realized is, if I buy 2 trucks and I keep 2 drivers on, guy was not stopping. Of course he's not. John Law don't stop for nobody. If I buy 2 trucks and I give one to a driver and I take over the other, breaking the immersion. Had to go out of cab. Roundabouts, man. I take so much damage at roundabouts. I'm going to finish this thought. I don't care how long it takes me. If I buy 2 trucks and I give one to a driver and I take the other one, now we have 2 revenue streams. But then I realized I had me an idea. I said, ill will, what if we hire 2 drivers and you keep taking contract jobs, and then you have 3 revenue streams? So that's what I do, and I continue that till I have enough money to buy a 3rd and a 4th truck, and I put on a 3rd and a 4th driver. And then the final truck that I buy, the 5th one, is the one that I keep for myself. So as I'm building my profile, I don't necessarily want to take long jobs because I'm driving other people's trucks, and I don't always want to start building my profile in a way that I can get assigned long jobs, and then I end up driving them in a truck that I don't even like. Because at that point I'm sort of grinding, you know? Got to grind for gold. I'm grinding for gold, and it's bad enough grinding. I don't want to grind in somebody else's truck. So for that reason, as I'm building my profile, I start with fragile cargo and on-time delivery and not on-time delivery. What am I saying? Just-in-time delivery. Urgent delivery. I do all my hazmat and ADR tags, and I don't really worry about fuel economy because I'm not buying the fuel when I'm driving somebody else's truck, and I don't worry about long trips. So what I'm saying is, I don't think I may have like level 1 or level 2 long trips. Man, I just keep speeding today. Be all that coffee I drank. So I think I'm on like level 1 or level 2 for long trips, and that means that it is not likely. I'm just going to gather myself. I'm going to find a center. Ooh, I'm going to go to my happy place. Okay, I think we might be level 1. We aren't anything. I think I might be level 1 or level 2 for long trips. And if that's the case, it is extremely unlikely that in Blönduós we would find a cargo that's going all the way to the Scandinavian mainland. Not impossible. I just think not very likely. and I am loving these. What's going on over there? I am loving these settings I got dialed. Sometimes it works out just right, and my settings right now, even with OBS, I'm not at 60. I think when we get away from these lights and various other things, I think oh yeah. Now, okay. Is that right? I get... Man, I am all over the map right now. I have about 5 tangents going at once. I can't remember if my lift axle is down, and there's no indicator in the truck, and I can't see outside because it's dark. I thought I slept at the repair shop when we put the 16-liter motor in, but now I'm thinking obviously I didn't, because we've only been on this job for, what, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and it says I need to sleep. So I think I parked the truck, turned the lights off, set the brake, and then forgot to sleep. So that means we're going to need to sleep at some point on this trip, like straight away. But here's some lights so I can at least check my lift axle. Lift axle is up. Well, it was up, now it's down. And here's a traffic circle. Man, I am a hot mess. You don't want me delivering your cargo. Not right now. And you want to be my latex salesman. You know what I need? Apparently, I don't even know what I need. All right. So, next thing is we need to find a place to sleep. And we need to put down our lift axle? Yes, we do. Okay. Lift axle is down. Head out on the highway. Get your motor running. And head out on the highway and take a nap, apparently, is what we need to do. But when we got away from those little towns and we got away from the lights, frame rate jumped up. Just super stoked about that. So, when I need to sleep, I don't look at the map. I figure I'm either going to get somewhere to sleep or I'm going to fall asleep and wreck my truck. But looking at the map, I feel like it doesn't change anything. The only possible way that it could is if I just passed a place to sleep, and by looking at the map I realized, like, oh, you know, the next one is way up there, I need to turn around, it's going to be quicker for me to turn around and go back. But the thing is, it gives you enough warnings that if you found out you need to get some sleep, if you found out you're about to fall asleep and you had just left the town or something, or I don't know what you would do, but for me, I figure if I just left the town and the thing goes off, I'm not going to stop and immediately turn around because I'm always pushing my luck. So by the time it turns red like it is now, yes, we're talking about you. By the time it turns red like it is now, it's too late to turn around and go back because I'm 100 kilometers past the last place where I could have gone to sleep. So we're going to hope for the best. Iceland is weird in that there are a lot of little turnouts and places in the middle of nowhere, like places that you would never expect to see a place to sleep or see a hotel or something. There will just be one in the middle of nowhere. So you hear me, like, trying to make that happen, trying to wish that into existence, trying to actualize a parking lot. Just through sheer force of will, I'm going to make a parking lot exist. That guy was eyeballing me. He wanted to give me a ticket. I swear he did. And I'm going to need fuel too. I'm pretty sure I can get fuel in Blönduós. Now, when we get to Blönduós, it looks like it's way up north, but as far as the geography of Iceland, it's sort of midway between the north and south points. They're like the most northern and the most southern points. So you wouldn't think that to look at it, because I guess Iceland, I mean, all of Iceland seems like it's north. It can't all be north at the same time. There we go. Then we get some sleep. Just gonna go run a couple bends and we're good. And we'll have the added benefit of when we wake up, it might be daylight. And I think, as we've done, almost all of our trips have been at night. I haven't been doing that deliberately. It's just been working out that way. All right. So we're gonna pull in here, get some fuel. I guess we'll get some fuel while we're here. We'll get some fuel. We will drive to Blönduós. It looks like it's kind of up north, but it's really about the midway point, at least on that road. So now I'm tempted at that point, while we're all the way here, to make a trip north. But here's why that's a bad idea. Hey, daylight. Here's why that's a bad idea. I was tripping out a while ago about the possibility of even just making a trip this far in this 4x2. And we added 20 horse to the motor, but it's still, it's by no means a beast. So if I was worried before about just getting to Blönduós, and our cargo right now is only 3 tons, if I was worried about that before, then why would I even consider taking something over even worse mountains? And should we do that, then we have to come back over the mountains that we would pass to get up way north. And there is another mountain pass, another mountain range between Blönduós and the harbor. So I guess what I'm saying is, when we get to Blönduós, and I keep saying it that way, I have no idea how to pronounce it. I'm not going to go to pronounce.com. Maybe I will. What I'm saying is, we're going to wait till we get to Blönduós. And then we'll improvise. If we see something really sexy going up north and it's light, then it's going to be hard to say no to that. If we see something going to Scandinavia, all the way to the mainland, it's going to be hard to say no to that. I think worst case scenario will be if there are heavy loads going over the hill north, and we can't take those. And everything else that's light enough that we could haul it is headed back toward Reykjavik. And I mean, I don't want this to turn into Iceland trucking simulator. I would love to get back to the mainland and see slightly more varied terrain. I love Iceland, and I love the fact that they did this. ProMods is amazing. ProMods is free. I think the ProMods content, for my money, well, it's not for my money because it doesn't cost anything. The ProMods content, I think, no offense, SCS, but I think the ProMods content is in many ways superior to the base map. I prefer being in ProMod areas. A little bit slippy right there. So, and it doesn't cost anything. That is amazing to me. They just make it and they give it away. I have no idea how they make their money, or if they're even trying to make money, or if it's just a labor of love. But ProMods, man, unbelievable. And it's, to me, it is so ambitious that they would make Iceland, because really, like, choose my words carefully here. Most of Europe, as lovely and wonderful as it is, it doesn't all look the same. I'm not suggesting that at all. But I feel that it goes by degrees. So Holland is a little bit different than France, and the Luxembourg is a little different than Holland, and Denmark is a little different than Luxembourg, etc. So there are incremental changes as you go from one country to the next. But I feel like when you go to Iceland, it's just a whole different thing, plus the icy roads, and I believe we're going to cross a mountain between here and Blönduós. I believe we're going to, well, it's not a mountain, it's like a mountain range, I guess. You don't go over the summit of the mountain, you go over the pass between two peaks. But the physics are different. You can feel it. I mean, the truck will get very slippery as we get, the truck won't get slippery. The road will get slippery, and the truck will slip around as we get up onto the ice. Like even now, this texture that we just passed over, this is now a little more slippery than the bare tarmac, the bare road. And yeah, you saw me look. I forgot to put my lift axle down again. I love this truck, but it does not have a lift axle indicator. So this pavement right here, this is dry and it's got good grip. And that other texture, the one that we were just on, is a little bit slippery. Not terrible. You can barely feel it. But then there's another one we're going to get onto, I think, that's legit like ice and snow. Yukon Cornelius style. So once we get onto that, particularly in this 4x2, curious how that's all going to work out. But my point is, oh, hey, we're here. I don't even have a point. We're here. Whatever. I thought that would take a lot longer than it did. Well, I can't say I'm disappointed. But we need to go to plan B now. We need to make something bigger and better happen. Man, this is lovely though. This is the mild winter mod. The Grimes mild winter mod brings a lot of fog in. There's that lift axle. And I really like fog. It's one of my favorite things. Like as far as weather, fog and thunderstorms I love. Snow I like too. Hot sun, you know, I can take it or leave it. But fog I love. So being in Iceland and then having the Grimes mod bringing the fog in this is just magical to me. Makes me want to sing. I'm not going to, but you know, it makes me want to. All right. You can turn the backup beeper on or off, but you can't adjust its volume, and I really wish you could, because I know when I turn the truck up so you can hear the motor, I know I'm also turning up the beeper as well, and it's annoying as hell, so I apologize. Look at this guy. What's he doing? Oh, you know what? He's the guy from Birmingham. He's the guy that was eyeballing me. Steering axle on this trailer. Steering axles make everything better and worse. And I'm just continuing to overcompensate. But to be fair, the steering axle is overcompensating for my overcompensating. Does that make sense? Booty trap. Double negative is what I'm saying. All right. So, it's going to take a minute to get to level 21. It's going to go quiet for a minute. I'm going to take a look and see how long we've been recording. 31 minutes. That's not long enough. I like to go at least an hour every time. So we are in Blönduós. Keflavik. Okay. Well. There are mountains here. So we're in Blönduós. And I said it was kind of the midpoint. I guess Akureyri would be the proper midpoint, but there are still things north of Blönduós. This is very hilly and icy. I've been over this. It's fantastic, but it's very hilly and icy. There's nothing going up there anyway. Keflavik and Selfoss, we just came from there. There's no reason to go back there. So we'll take this. It is 21 tons, and there are mountains in here. But fortune favors the bold, as they say. I heard that in an Iron Maiden song. That's it. GPS. Here we go. Oh. And we're there. Oh, I'm exhausted. That log drive. All right. Got to be back there. Man, there are some cops in Iceland. Glad I didn't bring a big bag of weed with me. As far as you know. All right. Okay. Lift axle. And there we go. Okay, seriously guarding something, guarding the Walmart. All right. Pretty sure I just hooked the trailer. Didn't take any damage. Not stressing about it. All right. Now, the last trip from Reykjavik to here, to Blönduós, was 275 kilometers, and it took 20 minutes, half an hour. So, one can assume this one will take half an hour as well. But the difference is there's a bunch of mountains in between. Lift axle. All right, and we're on the road. We have fuel. We will do fine on sleep till we get there. And you know, I don't know how I feel about all this Iceland. You know, I like I was saying, I like Iceland. I like that ProMods included it. I like that they made it so different. The North Cape is like this as well, up toward Russia in northern Norway. It's fantastic. Looks completely different than Europe. It looks like the tundra, which I suppose it is. So I like that about Iceland. And I know once we get into Scandinavia, well, if we get into Scandinavia, when we get into Scandinavia, I will put on the Grimes Frosty mod, and that will give Scandinavia a different look. But when we get back into Europe, which realistically is probably 75 to 80% of the map, maybe more, maybe 90% of the map is just Europe, we will, then I'll take Frosty mod off. I guess what I'm saying is, while we're here in a place that's very visually different, let's go ahead and enjoy it. And because I'm not teleporting, because I'm not fast traveling between garages, I don't even own any garages, I just have my headquarters. Because we're not fast traveling, we may not be back in Iceland for a minute. So I guess, even though, I mean, I don't want it to get tedious, I don't want it to get monotonous, but while we're here, let's see a bit of the countryside, go on a little walkabout, as they say. They say that. That's a thing they say. I feel like we're just knocking on 60 FPS. Not quite there, but I mean 59 is... When you say 59 is not quite 60, you're really being a stickler at that point. 59 is not quite 60, but it's close. Oh, there we go. So we are hitting 60. I believe I'm capped at 60. Have I been over 60? Yeah, we're out away from cities. I have my lights on, but we're out away from cities. And I have not seen us go north of 60. I don't remember. I just started recording these videos, so I'm getting everything sorted out, and I'm getting OBS sorted out. So I'm changing a lot of settings on a lot of sims all at once. So that is ETS2, ATS, Farm Sim 17, Cattle and Crops, Spin Tires, Planet Coaster, City Skylines, Project Cars 1, Project Cars 2, and Assetto Corsa. I am tweaking settings on all of those, not simultaneously. I'll mess with one for a couple hours, do some tests, then I'll mess with another for a couple hours, do some tests. But I know I know I've capped some of my sims at 60 FPS, 60 hertz. Others I have not. And I don't know if you even can cap ETS2. Surely you can. If not in the control panel, in the options menu, then for some reason I'm thinking in the config file. maybe. What's his name again? So, don't. So I don't recall capping this at 60, but now we are pretty clearly not going above 60. And I'm wondering if I did that. Because that is a thing I would do, and I've done it on other sims, but I just can't remember if I did it on this one. Doesn't matter. Nobody cares. Just a game. Right. So we're going to Akureyri. Yeah, there is a pronunciation website. I've been to it. I've gone there and listened to words. But I have not gone there for the cities of Iceland, and maybe I should have. Ooh. Lift axle. Hey, remind me to forget about that when we come off this hill. I probably want to leave that up for hours. Now, wow, I forgot. In the time that it took me to get ready to say something, I forgot what it was I was going to say. That is probably not a good sign. Right, so this is that texture. This is getting a little bit slippery, not terrible, but you can feel that it's a little bit more slippery than dry pavement. But we're not into the snow yet. Huh. When it reloads the sky, I don't have any sky mods going, so everything, I don't have real graphics or anything changing the skybox. And I know this is all ProMods, so I think that's got to be the ProMods sky. And as many good things as this game has going for it, the way that it changes from one skybox to another has always been a little disappointing to me. Because I think it's a great game. I am stoked about my settings. I'm stoked about what I'm able to hold in OBS, not ABS. I'm pleased with what I'm able to hold with my analog brakes. But I was watching a stream the other day. It's either a stream or a Let's Play. I don't know. May not have been live. May not have been a live stream. But the guy was talking about ETS2 and about graphics settings and various other things. And he said, I mean, realistically, it's not exactly eye candy. And as soon as he said that, I fired up the game and I was looking around. Okay, so we are at 70 FPS, so I'm not capped at 60. Everything I said earlier, just forget I said anything earlier. That was another guy talking. So he said, it's not exactly eye candy. And I went and fired it up, and I was looking like, is it exactly eye candy? And he's right. It's sort of not. I mean, it's a very immersive game to me. It's a very compelling game. But after he said that, when I came in, I'm on high settings. I'm not on ultra. But I was looking around, and he's right. It's not exactly eye candy. And it's sort of like the race sims, Project Cars and Assetto Corsa are both what I think of as racing simulators. They're both just relentlessly difficult to the point where sometimes it's not even fun because it's just so hard. There are There are cars and tracks, no conditions, no rain, no fog or anything, just a regular car and a regular track, dry pavement at noon. There are car and track combos where I have been working for months trying to solve that track and figure out the entries and the brake points and the shift points to turn a decent lap time, and I spend half my time on that track off the track. It's that hard. And I don't play with any assists. I will sometimes use the driving line, but I don't use any traction control, no stability control, no ABS, no spin control. Oh dear. Right. Okay, so this is the slippy stuff. So now I'm trying to drive on this and talk about driving on something else. So in Assetto Corsa and Project Cars, I find the game to be so difficult and so challenging. And realistically, even if you love Project Cars, even if you love Assetto Corsa, you have to admit that the graphics are not quite as good as Forza. But I don't think Forza's physics or gameplay is as good as either Project Cars or Assetto Corsa. And when I read in the magazines, when I read on the websites like you do, fanboy, about did I forget to put my lift axle down? I did, didn't I? Son of a... Oh, it makes me so mad. You know what? It's twisty enough here. I left it up on purpose. Look how twisty it is here. Better put that lift axle up. So it's interesting to see when people talk about racing games. Yeah, all right. I'm hurrying. When people talk about racing games and simulation gaming versus driving games, I feel like Assetto Corsa and Project Cars land on the simulation side, and Forza, as much as I love it, realistically ends up on the game side. And don't get me wrong, I mean, Forza is the physics are good and it's very challenging, but I don't find it to be nearly as challenging or as realistic as either Project Cars or Assetto Corsa. So what I'm saying is, guy's hauling ass. So is that guy. So what I'm saying is, I feel like Euro Truck Simulator is more focused on the simulation aspect than on the graphics aspect. And the graphics are great, I think, but it's not, it doesn't have that Ubisoft look to it. And part of that may be not a sacrifice, I don't want to overstate it, but part of that may be sparing either development time, that they'd rather spend their time developing the gameplay and the physics, or it could be to spare the processor and the graphics card. I don't know. Or maybe they just can't pull it off. Maybe they're not very good at making things pretty. I don't know. But I'm okay with, if I had a choice between a pretty game that was more cartoony as far as, cartoony, like gameplay, arcade style, I guess. If I had a choice between a game that was prettier but had arcade style gameplay, or ETS2 the way it is now, which is, I mean, you can sandbox anything. I guess when you get the mods in there, when you get ProMods, when you throw some physics mods in, and if you play for real, try to never take any damage or never get any tickets, I think it's a fairly realistic game, or as realistic as anything. I mean, I'm not driving a truck. I'm sitting in my office in my apartment. That's, it's not realistic at all. I'm not driving a truck, but it's, is it compelling? Is it convincing? Is it immersive? Yeah, it's all those things, definitely. So for me, then I would call that a win. And if the graphics aren't gorgeous, well, I can't even say that. That's a pretty good looking vista right there. It's a pretty good looking view on high, not ultra. So I would say, for me, the game definitely works. Would I like it to be prettier? Yes and no. I mean, I don't feel like I'm missing out. And if making it prettier cost FPS, then I'd have to say no. Give me that FPS. Man, I'm chasing FPS like a drug addict. Cannot ever get enough FPS. And right now I'm barely getting any. Oh, geez, just dropped to like 30s. That's no good. Okay, could be because we're loading scenery. That's my excuse for everything, by the way. Anytime there's any type of graphical dip at all, it's not my processor. It's not my processor. It's not my machine. It's not my settings. It's because we're loading scenery. It's fine. Now we're getting to this traffic circle up here, and this is where I would bring my lift axle up. But in the interest of efficiency, I put it up like a day ago and just left it up. Just to be ready for this traffic circle. Right. Okay. So we're making our way back down to the port. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drop this load. Don't be that way. I'm going to drop this load. And then I'm going to call it for the day, but I am also going to take a look at the map. Now, what I've noticed is as long as you don't sleep, the jobs don't update. So we can look at the map, and then I can stop the game, pause it, whatever, turn it off, go have breakfast. And when I come back to it tomorrow, the same jobs. It's what I've noticed anyway. I could be wrong, but no, not turning, just driving. Okay. The same jobs will be loaded. At least that's what I've seen to be the case. So we'll take a look at jobs today before we sign off. Before I sign off. And then, man. This is ridiculous. I would expect, like if my boss sent me on this delivery, I would expect some handwritten directions on a cocktail napkin. Like, oh, by the way, you're going to need to skinny your trailer like 10 ways to Sunday. Did I hit? I don't even want to look because I feel like I hit. I'm just going to just pull it through there. Come on. Yeah. All right. Try this one time. doesn't work, then I'm going third person. So much easier when you don't have the steering axle in the back to deal with. That thing is, it really helps out in cities, but it is a pain in the ass when you're just trying to back a trailer in, end of the job. I just want to be done. Right. Okay, see how we did? And we are a ways away from a promotion, like a long ways away. Yeah, ways to go. Okay, we're gonna take a look at the job market, see what we got going out of Blönduós. Don't crash, don't crash, don't. Whew. Okay. Not Blönduós, Akureyri. So we got things. Oh, okay. So this is a good one here because this will get us into Bergen, which is one of my favorite places. Don't crash. And it's leaving from Stobart. Okay, so Denmark, Bergen. I think Bergen is going to be where it's at. We'll take these forklifts to Bergen. And everything else is either going down to the UK, laminate flooring. It's heavy, it doesn't pay very well. It doesn't pay as well as the forklifts. So, yeah, there's a ton of stuff going to don't crash. Don't. Okay, they crashed. I think we're on a blank screen right now. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But I'm going to end the stream there. When we pick up next time, I will take those forklifts to Bergen, Norway. Folks, thanks so much for watching. I am the Portable Gamer. We'll see you next time.